following is a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 2.
Hello everyone and welcome to Big Noon here as we are set to get our second Final Four match underway for Meteorological May. I'm your host G-Man and we jump into our altimeter versus drought Final Four match here with altimeter champion Bob Ross, who has been on a big underdog run this tournament, going up against drought champion Red. Both players making their first Final Four appearance. It should be 3 versus 8. There's a slight error on the stream, but this should be fixed now. But let's jump into the resumes here, starting with the higher seed in Red. 17-7 in this region, pretty good run there, all things considered. But started off with a close call. Almost lost to Blake in the first round, 1-7 there, but was able to hang on in a stream match. But then went up against Mazuat, was able to take care of business there in a 4-1 win, and then swept short in the regional semifinal to make it back to the regional final for the first time since February, where he went up against Taco, won that 1-5-3, and locked his spot into the Final Four. And then we jump over to Bob Ross, and this has been another interesting path for him. Again, close call in the first round, 4-3, 1-7. Was able to hang on though, make his second career round 32, I believe, after doing so in the February flurry, and then was able to beat J Money 4-1, big upset there that really helped kickstart the momentum here. And that was really where the string of really tough games started, because had to go up against Marbleside, who was the debutant of the tournament, and the trends were really against him in this one, but was able to find a way to make it back. Won that one in 7 to make it to his first regional final, where he was able to outlast White Spider in a very close game. Best match of last round. Beat White Spider 5-4 to find himself in this spot in the Final Four. We'll take a look at the bracket now. And we've had our first Final Four match on Thursday. Myhale was able to hang on to that 1-5-4 to make his second finale. He looks for some redemption after losing in the finale in Tournament 2 of last season. That ultimately was part of the reason that his not necessarily downfall, but like not able to find his way into the D2 championship, not getting that tournament win. So he hopes to get some redemption there. And of course, we have Red and Bob Ross up next. We'll see who gets the win here to face Myhale in that finale. But we will find out right now. We'll jump over into the overlay as again, okay, gifts. But I'm joined by a big crowd here, but I'm also joined by my co-commentator Tapir. Tapir, I mean, I wouldn't say we got up early because noon's not that early, but we got up for good midday drives. But any comments on this match? I know the Final Four stream last time was very chaotic, but looking for another great match here. Maybe a little bit of chaos along the way. You can't always go into a Uno game without some of that. But any comments here as we get ready to kick off this second Final Four and determine our other half of the finale. It appears still muted. Okay, well, Tapir's gonna need a second, but yeah. Red's not gonna be able to hear commentary. That's fine. But you're gonna need a second for Tapir. Lost his driver, so he's gonna have to go find it real quick. Um, but yeah. We could go back to the bracket for a second here. Uh, Again, this has been really an interesting tournament. A lot of higher seeds have won throughout this one. Isn't shown here, but the regional finals only had one person who was above a 4 seed, and that was Bob Ross. Everyone else was a 4 seed or higher in the sense of 1, 2, 3, 4. So really more of a forecasted tournament, ironically, with this being a weather theme, but you know, at the end of the day, our final four, no one seeds, but then 2, 3, 4, and then you have Bob Ross sticking out, looking to keep the underdog run rolling. If Bob Ross wins this tournament, he would be the second 8 seed to win a D2 tournament. And from what I recall, I believe that will be the first time that a seed line has won 2 tournaments in D2, although I could quickly double check that while we're waiting here. Yeah. I guess we could read off some of this these seed line stats while we're waiting here. Um yeah, that would be the first time a seed line wins twice, as again the one other time an 8 seed won a D2 tournament was last season. Acoustic August, where Nightwalker got the victory. But let's read off some of the stats here from the seed lines. Two line, surprisingly, this is only the second time a two seeds made the final four. For the 3 seeds, actually this is the first time a 3 seed has made the final four. So Red making a little bit of history here with D2. That was the highest seed to not make a final four so far. 4 seeds, three final fours before. One of the higher represented ones. The only one that has more is the one line. So actually no, I read this wrong. Cause the 4 seeds making its fourth, so that's actually gonna tie with the one line. So 2 line third final four, third line first final four, 4 line fourth final four, and then the 8 line is making its third final four. So getting a lot of heavily represented numbers here, but the 3 line not really doing much in terms of there. But I guess a weird stat also is this is only the second time a 3 seed has ever made the final four in league in general. There's only been one time a 3 seed made the final four, and that was in a D1 tournament. So yeah, and that's with 11 regional final appearances from the 3 lines. So that round has been a bit of a struggle for the three seeds, but Red was able to get through it nonetheless. But no 3 seeds ever made the finale. We'll see if Red can be the first to do that today. And yeah, in terms of finale stats, Cyan was unsuccessful on Thursday. He would have been the 5th 2 seed to make a final four. Of course, aforementioned Red can make his first finale. And then the 4 line, Myhill, that's going to be the 4 lines, third final four, ironically, and all 3 of them came from D2. So ain't that something? No 4 seed has ever made the finale in D1. I keep mixing up final four and finale. And then for the 8 line, they're looking for their 4th finale and so 3rd in D2. So yeah. We're gonna check back in with Tapir here. Is everything good, boss, or still having some issues? All right. Um, I don't know if Yoshi's able. I don't know if Yoshi's in a position to talk for a bit. Oh wait, there's Sapir.
My apologies. I got right as you threw to me, I got interrupted. Yeah, you said something about just opening remarks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't know Bob Ross that well, but I would say that his resume speaks for himself. For itself, he does have lots of great wins there. He has. Let me see here. He's got that.
J
He's got that one over
J Money and
J
White
Money
Sweater.
and White Sweater. Yep. crazy good wins there, 4-1, 5-4. Red there, I know from UUL. I know him very well. He's a good player. Does have that sweep over not short number 10 there in the round of 16. So I think both of these players pretty much even. I do notice that Red has 10 more wins than Bob Ross there. So I'm excited to see how he. Oh, no, he doesn't. Is that a typo there? So it's 35-21. Is that just overall?
No, it's 25. It's 25-21. Or is that on the
For Red, it says 35-21
where?
on the release form. Games record?
Oh, that might have been a typo, but keep going.
Okay. All right. So if it's not, then it's pretty much then that would actually make it even. So which I wouldn't doubt for both players. They do seem pretty much even. So I really am excited to see what unfolds today at high noon on this Sunday. I'm really excited to get it going. So yeah, back to you, G.
All right, well, we will get things rolling here in just a second. But before that, we'll jump to our players here. Red can't hear commentary, so I'm probably gonna have to take that one out for him. But I'll just need a second to do that. Yes. Oh, okay. I'm guessing you're just gonna mute the commentary, but oh, okay, that's fine. All right. With that said, then, Red, first Final Four appearance. You've had a really good season so far in your debut, and you're really one of those players who is looking to be in a good spot when it comes to the D2 championship bubble. But obviously, you want to have that security with the tournament win. Any comments on your thoughts going into this match right now? And you are the higher seed, but we've seen Bob Ross go on a tear so far this tournament with a bunch of upsets. So any comments on what you feel you need to do to stop the train here and make it to your first finale?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, so you were talking about the Final Four, right? So
Yes.
I think that at this point, yeah, even to making it here into the Final Four has been a very good experience for me, and it has set me up for the D2 championship, uh, to a spot in others, and I don't have anything much to say. Besides that, whatever outcome this comes, I'm very proud of myself that I've made it for here.
All right. We'll go to Bob Ross now. Again, massive upset run here. The first Final Four, you locked up your LCQ spot in the last round, but now you have an opportunity to outright book your spot into the D2 championship with tournament victory here. It's been a long run for you, but any comments on getting to this point? I know you've said in the past that it's just kind of been how the cards roll and then just capitalizing on what you're getting and also just executing in a few specific situations. But any comments on the thoughts of making the Final Four here, and I guess just one on your end you need to do to try to make it to the finale?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one of my stronger points this tournament, and mainly just in general, has been like my ability to perform under pressure. Like you look at my run this tournament, three out of four of my games went to sevens or nines, and I'm 3-0 in those. I think like because I play a lot of volleyball, which I think is a really high pressure sport. So I'm used to like being in high pressure competitive situations, and I think that's like actually helped me a lot here because like even like subconsciously, like I think that there is pressure in these games and it's gone to some people where, you don't notice you don't notice something that maybe you would have noticed before, or you like make an impulsive decision and it costs you. So I think that's really been a plus for me. And yeah, just gotta keep it going. I'm the underdog, so got nothing to lose.
All right, got nothing to lose. We'll see what Bob Ross can do here. Best of 9. Yoshi will be our ref. Feel free to start up. Red is the higher seed, so he gets the first call here. We already have the game all pre-set up, so for Red, it's just going to be giving the game 1 call. And from
Before
there,
starting, I would like to wish Bob Ross good luck to this match. And for the first match, I'm gonna go with 11.
all right.
Good luck to you too, man.
I'd love to see it. Both games have had good sportsmanship at the start. And we are underway. Timer needs to.
Obviously, a very middle tier there to start off. Kind of a feeler game.
Yeah, again, opening on red here, but both red 6s off the table right away. Not a ditto, but they are gone off the bat. And 3 cards switch into yellow now, and there's a ditto. So first ditto right there with the yellow one. But we are rolling through quickly. Now we're suddenly in Draw City off a skip door opener. Bob Ross is gonna use that door opener to get back to red. Well, I think the timer might be a little bit off for game 1, but we are rolling here past a minute. And that's a big play there to go into blue now. Red going on the offensive here. Bob Ross with another skip.
Gotta look at the meta for red playing red at this game. I think it's gonna be OP.
I mean, potentially. That is like the power card in a way for red. Kind of like how the Clint green, the green is the power card, but we'll see. Switch back to yellow now. Again, Bob Ross definitely in a more defensive position now since he's down 5 at the moment. Question is it really gonna matter here? Doesn't look like it. It looks like gonna be
There you go.
big hand for red there to start things off. It's gonna give a I guess a good start. 216. Okay, ironically I was right on the timer, but yeah, I don't really have much to say there. I guess the only thing is red with a big hand, but I saw there was a bit of a draw city for a while. I'm curious if you did get something off that. Okay, you got at least 1+4 from the draw city, it seems, but yeah, and I mean any comments on that game and just kind of what you were able to get from the draw city to help you there?
Yeah, no comment. Besides that, the hand that I closed, that's the starting hand. Not, yeah, just no comment.
Alright, well, I don't really got much for Bob Ross there because Red was able to get the right draws to just kind of steamroll that game. But I think with that said, we could jump right into game 2 here. Again, Red still will have the call, just can't pick 11 now.
Gonna go 1 up this time. Even dozen. Starting off with the yellow 4. Immediate into red. There you go, red on red. Immediate switch there is very telling, I'd say. Ditto play into the red 0 sugar. We are moving right along here.
And again, Red is the power card in theory, so or the power color in theory, and we go right back to yellow. Red does have yellow.
Crazy 0 sugar switch there. You don't see a whole lot of those.
And back to red once again.
Really dancing in the red and yellow here.
Right?
This back and forth kind of ping pong match.
I mean, red is the more notable color for red here, but I mean, yellow isn't too shabby for him either. So, Bob Ross once again going back to yellow. He is really light switching here, and red's gonna have enough of that and opens up a new color with green. Ooh, another 9. So maybe he was looking for a potential switch to green there. But red is again on a roll. Bob Ross runs out, so. Again, red off to an early lead, but red is going to draw here as well. And we saw what happened in the last draw city, so Bob Ross hoping to avoid the same fate. Atrocity's still going. Red's gonna give a bit of a breather for a second with the green 6. Do we get a switch here, or do we keep going? Yes, Bob Ross gets into the blue, and that's gonna be Pandora's. And red draws on blue. Can Bob Ross keep it going? Yes, he can. It's gonna be helpful for him to get back into this.
Interesting that is now 3 of the zeros gone. Only the green 0 remains. Still running in the blue here.
Blue skip. Looking for a bit of a run here. Blue +2. That gives him the lead. Red +2. Throws a +6 down. Then the red 7. We're back into red. And moves immediately into yellow here. Bob Ross is able to respond still. And the +6 in return, so we kind of even up the slate there. It's tied with red advantage at the moment. Ooh, red with no more blues. We'll see how. Okay, well, gonna get switched into green. Potentially wrong number placement for Bob Ross. We'll have to see, but crossover to yellow here, so that might be what he wanted. Red's able to be able to play the yellow. This is gonna be
Crazy run on the 4s so far. There's 6 of the 8 4s are gone now.
And now we're going on a big run on the 8s. Gets a double there.
This looks like a game of even numbers so far. Yeah, 2s, 4s, 8s. There's your
Yeah.
odd numbers now.
It's gonna break it up. Really getting the odd numbers now. Bob Ross runs out. Can red get to a finish? It's gonna be check on wild green. Will Bob Ross have anything to respond? No, he will not. So, all right, game 2 goes to red, and again another one where it's a quick flurry, but red able to get the last laugh with the wild. Yeah. Red. Kind of a similar game, except I wouldn't say that was exactly plan A. There were definitely moments where you kind of going back and forth there, but any comments on that game and any pivotal moments that really kind of helped shift the narrative in your favor?
Yeah, so most of the time it was the number game. I would say it was the number game. The 2+2 that I think I had it in the beginning, I think, but since the Bob Ross gave me +2, then I had to give it back to him. But most of the time it was the number games, and I had to rely on the number efficiency to get there.
All right. Bob Ross, was there anything you felt maybe that could have gone a little differently there, or was that just kind of a situation where you kind of played your cards and it just didn't work out, especially with that wild check at the end?
Yeah, just just the same situation where I just didn't have the hand to be him with his hands. Yeah, that wild kind of just screwed me up at the end. I had a chance because I had some number efficiency going, but that wild, I just can't really do anything. So
All right. Well, yeah, it's true. It's only game 2. We go to game 3 here, and I mean, again, quickly before we keep it rolling here. Bob Ross with no wilds or +4s, but ironically no reverses either, which is a bit bizarre. We'll see if that changes at any point in the series, but Bob Ross is going to have the game 3 call, looking to bring himself back into this one. Can't pick anything, and he's going to go 7, so he's going to go down, which I think is not a bad decision. We've seen Bob Ross explore a bit more of that low tier this tournament, and in a round where a lot of people just wanted to stay high. Bob Ross is kind of, I guess, I wouldn't say sticks out like a sore thumb, but kind of built his own path with that. So, played a reverse into a draw, but gets to switch off the 9 into yellow. Ooh, and a +2. Oh, no, +6. Now we're in the red. It's a quick start here.
Very quick. Looks like he had a handful of good stuff here. It's going to run out, though, so it's going to give red a chance to get some back. Close the gap just a little bit.
Yeah, it got down to 3, but this green is not working out too great for Bob Ross here, but he does get a switch in the blue. Problem is, how much do these draws kind of affect his hand now?
Right, because you'd have to think maybe he picked up a red and he already got rid of all his red, and now he's going to have to find a way to get back to it.
Well, we're climbing up the number ladder here. And Bob Ross is out at 2, or actually at 3 once again. Doing a three card switch here, and that gives red the lead. There's the aforementioned red.
Red to the red on the red. Keep going for red. And here comes red.
Oh my god, double +4.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And
Just absolutely OP at that point.
I think the biggest problem for Bob Ross there is I think he had a decent lineup. The problem is he just needed one connector with like a wild and just did not have it. But yeah, I mean, red just kind of quickly elaborating where this +4s came from. One from the start, and then the +6 gave the second one. So, yeah, that's a rough one. That's a rough one for Bob Ross here. Start generator.exe. Bob Ross might need that right now. It's currently 4-0 on the wild +4 is not necessarily what you want to see. Bob Ross did get a reverse there, but how much is that really going to do, especially with the 4 on the +4s? Yeah, I mean, again, not really much to say there. Again, I think Bob Ross tried to go for the low tier a bit, and ultimately this time it did not work out, but he's in a tough spot right now, 3-0. He's gonna really want to get this game win here to not have to force a reverse sweep. But yeah, Tafir, I mean, it's been a bit of a rough start so far, but I mean, it just seems like Red's been able to get all the ammo.
Very true. I think the only thing in Bob Ross's favor is just the law of averages, right? Later in the series, you would hope that the cards are going to go back in Bob Ross's favor, and he will get a little taste of that delicious ammo. So we'll see how that unfolds as we go into Game 4.
And that shit, we will jump into Game 4 here. Bob Ross looking to get a win here. I think he was thinking a bit during that quick intermission. He's going to go the other side here and going to go with a full send here. So first full send of the series.
Sometimes that's what you got to do, right? Kind of shake everything up. We already saw 7, so it won't have 5 wouldn't really have that much of an effect like the shock factor that a 15 would. So kind of switching it up a little bit. And I think what he said in his opening statement there about remaining under pressure, that'll be one of these moments. He's down 3-0, but he's going to try and find a way to get some back. So we're going to see how that unfolds now as we start off with that red one.
And we continue with that red one. This is a ditto, but red's going to go up to the red 8. And again, it's another red start here, and I guess red by name, it's really kind of working out so far for red. But yeah, I think trying the low tier in Game 3 was a decent idea to try to mix it up a bit. It didn't work out, but I mean, at this point, it's really just kind of how the hand's been rolling. So I think just giving himself the best chance to spread out the hands a bit with 15, I think, was the next best available option. Because I think going a low tier again would have been a massive risk. But yeah, into yellow
very
now.
True. I feel like even at 7, right, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is kind of just too risky. So 15 was the optimal move there.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
we might be able to see 5 and 6 later in the series.
You know, three card switch there in the blue. I think 5, 6, 7 is really like where you kind of gamble. With that one, I think 8 and 9 is a little bit more relaxed, but I mean it's still definitely low tier, but it's definitely higher low tier. Again, red continuing to respond with some of this ammo here. And still drawing, and I mean, I say this on every stream every time I get and there it is. On every 5th full send, you do not want to be the first one to draw there, and red is going to be the first one to draw, which is going to be big for Bob Ross, especially if you can keep this going on the blue or even get a switch.
I think the only exception I would have there is obviously on a 15, you can have a whole lot of ammo right from the start. So I'd say the only exception to that is if red really had a 7 card, let's say, because he was at 8. Let's say he had 7 card and he just needed something to match it up. Then he just starts drawing. Let's say he still has a +4. So he's really kind of sitting comfortable with drawing a little bit. And he doesn't really necessarily have to rush the win at that point. He could just kind of wait and sit back and see what happens. So um, it doesn't look like he did that, though, as he is starting to play some numbers here. A little bit of a nod into the green.
It's a risky switch from
Ditto
red. We
here.
have not seen
Yeah.
green. Bob Ross gets the Uno, but again, no +4s to be found on his side.
Last chance for red to do anything, potentially. Bob for 1 up.
All right, he got it.
Yep, there he goes.
No +4s
So
needed
he's
with
on
that
the
one.
board.
Yeah, I mean, had some small runs here and there, but ran that pretty straight, all things considered. And red could have maybe gone for the wild there, but really was kind of in a tough spot there since it was Bob Ross hadn't drawn to that point, so you don't really know what that final card is. So tried to play it out, and ultimately it did not work out. All right, Bob Ross. I mean, you're on the board here. Full send end up working there, and you salvage one back. I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily you're still getting the greatest cards in the world, but I mean, you were able to make that one work this time, especially since that seemed to be a more even series, all things considered, or even game, all things considered. Any comments on that one, and just kind of running it down to the end there to get the first game win in those series?
Yeah, I thought I played fine there. I was kind of. I just thought I just need like a marathon in this game, which is why I chose 15. Because there's only so much he can do. Like, you can't just like go on like one run with 15 and just end the game. So that was kind of where my mindset was, and yeah, I was just kind of able to play my cards and pull it out, even still with the lack of +4s. But yeah, good to get some momentum.
No, I'm gonna go to red here quick because yeah, I mean, we saw you had the wild here. I guess just thoughts on this choice to stay with green and ultimately it not panning out. Choice of color. Yeah, because I mean, Sapir, I mean, I guess we could talk about this. I mean, for red here, if he went with the wild, he'd go with either red or blue potentially, or maybe stall it out on the yellow. The thing is, he would have at least gotten one of the switches here. It's just would he been able to get the second one? Because if he would have been able to get that second one, he would have been on his way cruising to possibly get that game win. But I mean, any comments on the hold off on the wild there?
I think at that point you're just praying that Bob Ross doesn't have it, because really with triple eights there, you can't rely so much on a color switch unless you do it yourself. Even if you get that second color switch, you still got to rely on your opponent not having that second color. So really you got to think about if your opponent's on a 2-color game, and I don't think we saw that here. So I don't really hate holding on to that wild, just hoping that, maybe he doesn't have it, and figure it out from there. But I do want to go to Bob Ross here, Mr. Bob Ross. You went down. We see you went down 3-0 to start the series, and then you were talking about in your opening statement your ability to remain under pressure. How are you adapting now that you're going to lose your homestand, so it's going to go back to red for the next 2 games? How are you adapting here, and how is your stamina staying afloat here, even though you got the momentum back in your favor? Talk to me on that.
Yeah, I'm still not worried. Like, I mean, I would have been pretty worried if I lost this game, which is simply why I knew I had to win it. So then, I don't know. I really need that win to put me on the board, and that's kind of give me just that slight push where now I think I could just kind of keep playing my game and just not worry about it and try and take the next couple of games to tie the series.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, gee, we talk about it all the time. 3-1 is a whole lot better than 4-0. So I think that was definitely something that Bob Ross needed to get accomplished, and he did do that. So he is staying afloat. He's got that momentum now. It's going to be on red to try and take that from him and close the match out.
Yep, all right. We'll see what red does here to try to regroup and try to get that 4-1. But Red call is yours, just can't pick 7 here, so what'll it be? Gonna keep climbing up the ladder here. Started with 11, went 12, and now goes 13 here. I'm curious to see if he'll go 14 in the next one. But yellow 5 is gonna be the opener. And tries to play, I think that was a misplay. Yeah, it's gonna be a yellow 1. The only thing that really tells you is you don't have green 1, which I think early game that doesn't really matter, but I mean in late game that kind of mistake could actually be a bit problematic. But yeah, green
Yeah, very
6.
true.
It's even more problematic
Especially later
if
in
you
the
do have it,
series.
because then the error pops up. But
Absolutely, and then it'll show your opponent that you really need green. Then your opponent's gonna try everything he can not to go into it. So if you, bottom line, if you need a switch, you're gonna have to do it yourself in that case.
we don't really see the scenario pop up a lot, but there's a lot of situations actually where you kind of just expose yourself, and then you give like this. Sometimes you kind of like leave out the bait, and then you give the switch, and then you just kind of attack from there. So that's kind of also another negative of that kind of mistake, but didn't see that there. Rolling on the red now. Red draws on the red, so his favorite color betraying him right now as Bob Ross is going on a run of skips here. Big run of skips. So both green skips in his hand. There's his first +4, and this is looking like a big run here.
Oh wow.
Yellow +2. This could just be straight up plan A. Blue +2, and it is.
Holy
Wow.
moly.
That's
Keeps
a
going.
major run to bring it back 3-2. We gotta count that one because we were like in a bit of a different conversation with that one. I mean, red drew on the red there. After he was the one who gave the switch. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 card run to the finish. So, big run there from Bob Ross. Gets his first +4 and kind of just ran that one down. Yeah, I don't got much to say on that one.
Everyone needs to print out 34
Yoshi, you're unmuted. There you go.
Yoshi giving out his game plan there.
Yeah, so big suggestion on printing things out here. But yeah, I mean,
I guess the only thing I got for Bob Ross is you just took the first 2 here, one after the other, and it looks like the cards are starting to shift back in your favor. How do you think you're going to be able to adapt to that? Even with, you mentioned that Red had somewhat of a decent hand. Just talk to me through your thought process here, how you're going to hope to adapt and hope the cards are going to work in your favor here for the next couple games.
Yeah, that was a really good win. Just kind of like actually getting help from the bot, and just I was able to pull it off really efficiently. So I think that's really just starting to build up my momentum, and hopefully I continue that trend of getting up wild +4s. The bot doesn't deal me a lot of +4s in this league, I found, but I find when I'm dealt a +4 off the bat, I pretty much never lose. So as long as I can just keep getting like some decent cards, I just need like a little bit of arsenal, and then I can keep it going.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you were down 4-1 with those +4s, 4-0 before you got that first one. So, yeah, G, we talk a lot about how if you have a +4, it's pretty much your bridge to whatever color you need. So, I think if you didn't have that +4, we'd be looking at a very different game here.
that is true. But again, Bob Ross mentions the +4s. Again, at some point, we're looking to have that be available to see that stat with like how many +4s, skips, yada yada, everyone gets throughout a season. So we'll see if we get that at some point. Get some good analysis with that. But that being said, we'll jump to game 6 here. I made a prediction earlier on what red could go if we get here, but red has the call now, so we'll see what he goes with here. Last 2 games it's not gone that great for him, but we'll see what the potential adjustment will be. All right, no, he's not going 14. He's actually going to go 10 here, so he's going to go more to the mid tier.
Matter of fact, that is exactly in the middle there. So a little bit of a reset, just see what the bot gives for both sides. As we start off with that blue 6. And another ditto off the top.
This is the second one of the series.
Here comes Bob Ross. Been
Yeah.
seeing on a lot, yeah.
I think the biggest thing here right now is this does kind of signal a bit of an adjustment here for Red, because we haven't really seen true mid tier so far. I mean, the closest we saw was 12, and that was more leaning into the high tier. But Bob Ross is just going on a 3-card run on the blue to kick things off, and for Red, not feeling great about that, he's going to immediately switch back into the blue. That's a good play. Going to force out the draw from Bob Ross.
Super solid. So at that point, really, you just gonna want to get out of the blue if you don't have any. You know, it's a no-brainer. But good on Red for getting back in there, forcing him to draw city there. Blue 7 now from Red. We'll see if yep, going to be a switch there to green from Bob Ross. What he needed there.
I think Red might be okay with that for now, though, because he got some good mileage out of blue.
Ironically, we have not seen any reds so far this game.
Ooh, red
That
runs
might
out.
be Red's kryptonite. So it might be possibly, potentially, the closing color for this game.
Ooh, okay, stall on the
Or
blue.
it could, ooh. Yeah, hold that thought. We're going to leave that door open.
You're gonna keep it.
Nobody takes the bait.
Yeah, gonna stall it on the blue right now, and we gotta draw city rolling. And I think for red, he knew Bob Ross didn't have any blue, and maybe he just wasn't liking the way his hand was shaping up right now, so wanted to kind of go back to the drawing board here. But door gets closed with the 4. No play from red. Can Bob Ross get a switch?
Could have been a perfect setup there. Yeah, there it is. Yellow 4 now.
And Bob Ross is now back in business. Ooh, and it's immediate switch to
Possibly.
red. There it is.
That is going to be Pandora's for this game. First red so far. Red 5.
Goes back into
Back
yellow.
into yellow. So clearly Bob does not want that red right now. Could be that he's just out, or he wants to force stall, but there's an undercut with the green. Now we're running down the green some more.
Again, both have power play, but I mean, we've seen so far in this, I guess in general in D2, some people just like holding it off to the last game where they get close out the series here. I'm curious to see if anyone will decide to jump a bit earlier for it. Well, there you go.
Oh, well.
Crazy timing there.
Bro's got that ESP, I think. So he is going to decide,
Yeah,
I think,
that is honestly, that's
yeah.
probably a good call to do it there, because I mean you would have gave up a ton of ammo potentially there, because I mean that would have been a +10. But yeah, red uses the power play, goes up 4-1. We'll have to win this last game clean though. I guess red, ironically, we were literally talking about the power play as you were doing that, but any comments on why you decided to go for it there instead of potentially like leaving it for a series finisher?
I knew that by giving him maybe +10, there's a very high chance that he's gonna have something like a +4, a Y, or maybe a color switch to scream me off. So yeah, I just power play to secure the win here.
All right. Well, for Bob Ross here, I mean, Tapir, you got any questions for Bob Ross, or you want me to take this one?
No, I'm pretty much good. Go right ahead. You're cooking over there.
All right. For Bob Ross, I mean, red used the power play to go up 4-2 here, so you have to win the next 3 straight, but you do still have your power play, so do have a few options here to keep red at bay. But any comments here going into game 7, because you will have the homestand for the next 2 games, so not in a horrible position to make the comeback since you do have the call for the first 2. But any thoughts going into the last third of the series?
Yeah, it was a decent power play. But for the record, I didn't really have anything. But I guess after drawing 10 cards, I probably would have had something. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, probably wanted to win that game just to tie the series, but now he has no power play, and I have one power play, which gives me an advantage. And just kind of gonna try and keep him at bay while I'm in the homestead, try and force that game 9, which you've all seen that I'm good in. So as long as I can get there, I think I'm fine.
All right. Well, I guess with that said, we'll jump to Game 7 here. Again, Bob Ross with the call for the next 2. We'll have to win these next 3. Gonna go 1 up to 11 here, so kind of staying in that range, but we'll start with the blue 6 here.
So it's very clear that now that he's just pretty comfortable in the mid-tier range. So we'll see how that works out for him. He is going to have to win this one, and then, like you said, the next 2 after that. So he is in the red zone, but we'll see if he can get out of it.
Again, I mean, the thing is, red does not have a power play here, so Bob Ross does have a few options. I mean, he could always throw for a desperation defensive power play if given the opportunity, if he feels the game's about to end, but could also just save it towards the end or maybe save it in a critical moment. So we'll see where he uses it, if he uses it, but red with some draws early on when we get to switch to green, and red going to draw again, so this is not a good start to the game for him. Bob Ross off to a commanding lead. Yeah, this Bob Ross is like taking full control of this game here.
Oh wow, he's just flying. Yeah, red trying to get anything back that he can.
Can Bob Ross
Red
gets it
9
in.
now. Comes Bob Ross.
Wow, +4. That is
There you go,
exactly
yeah.
what red Bob Ross needed to kickstart this comeback here. A very dominant game there. Was able to plan A through that one. Yeah, I don't got much to say on that one.
Nope, I'm pretty much good here. Typical plan A game.
Yeah,
Not much to say, I don't think.
but that was exactly what Bob Ross needed in that situation. Because that's gonna give him some good momentum to try to get this comeback here. But 4-3 here. If this goes 9, that conversation for third is going to be interesting. Because I think both could have cases, but we'll worry about that later. But yeah, I mean, Bob Ross, I don't got much for you, so I feel like we could jump right into game 8. Yeah, again, Bob Ross 3-0 so far in this tournament, in last game situations. And again, we're seeing some of that pressure factor into this series here, because he was down 3-0 at one point, but has made his way back. It's 4-3 right now. Yes, you are home. This is your last home call. Again, if Bob Ross wins this and forces game 9, he will not have the call for game 9. So, all right, gonna go back to 10. That's the first time we return to a card start. Wasn't successful the first time, but it took a power play from red to get the win there. We just saw how 11 went for Bob Ross, so we'll see if the second round of 10 is gonna work out here. Immediate switch off the red. Doesn't want to fuel red up at this point.
I've been seeing a lot of these immediate switches today, right off the bat. Very interesting.
Green skip, green 2. That gives Bob Ross a definitive lead. Ooh, and that's a 3-card switch in the blue, and that's actually going to give red the lead. Another quick start here. Bob Ross is able to keep it going. Red keeps it going, but the problem is now red has the lead. So Bob Ross looking to try to figure out a way to throw himself back in front. Switch to yellow. Has the +4. Oh my goodness.
That would be
It
a
might be
good
another one.
start. We might be seeing a game 9.
Well, red can't power play here. That's a double +4. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
1 minute 11. That's 2 back-to-back Big plays, and Brett Superior, you talked about it earlier, the law of averages coming into play here.
Coming in clutch when you need it most. That is amazing.
Yeah, that's the second game 9 we've seen in this Final Four. Yeah, I got 2-minute 13 average, so it's been a really quick series. But yeah, I mean, Red just couldn't really find that exact finish there. Yeah, Yellow 5 was being a bit pesky for him. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this has been really, I guess, really back and forth, but not necessarily in terms of long gameplay, but more just who's able to find that run. But I mean, we'll start with Bob Ross here. I mean, this is your territory at this point. Game 9, this has been where you thrived this tournament. Any comments here going into this last sequence of the series here, with all the marbles on the line?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a man of my word. I said I'd keep fighting. I mean, obviously, I was really lucky that last game. I was dealt 2+4s, but still, I mean, I just had to get to the game 9. This is my home territory, so hopefully I can keep my game 9 streak going and pull it out.
All right, Red, over to you. Game 9. I mean, you had a good start to Series 3-0, but I think Law of Averages has caught up at this point. But I think this final game here, with it all on the line, you do technically have the call, but you also do not have the power play. So, any thoughts going into this one and what you need to do to be able to be the one that emerges victorious?
Yeah, so technically, I would say that Barbara's last since game 4 has been turning around for a lot. But and plus he's one power play out. So I do think that he has a bigger advantage here, although even though that I have to get home court, so let's see how it goes. So whatever I would say that whatever outcome this game be, I'm happy that I've been here. I made it this far. I have nothing to regret here.
All right, well, I mean, before we jump into Game 9, Superior, I want to point out something really bizarre here. There has been only one wild in this entire series, and that was only in Game 2, I'm pretty sure. And that was Red getting check. The wilds are not showing up at all. Any comments on that specifically? I mean, in terms of the card, I mean, +4 is definitely a better card to have, and we've seen 9 of those, but only a single wild. Do you think maybe another wild shows up and that could play a critical role in how this final game goes?
Oh, it's very possible. Could just be that there could be, I think, two scenarios that I would say are the most likely. Number one, you would have, let's see, who is it that with the power play? It's Ross, right?
It's
Got the
Ross,
power
yeah,
play.
Bob Ross.
Yeah. Okay. So that first scenario, I think, would be if, let's say, he plays his wild, or plays power play, wild, next card, and then gets the win. Second scenario, I would say, is just a simple check from either player, because you don't need the power play at that point. Just a simple check, win, and then, wham bam, game's over. So I think it's, regardless of the strength of either the wild or the +4, it's interesting to note out that there's 4 of each, for 4 wilds and 4+4s. So the very fact that we've had 9 +4s, only 1 wild, is absolutely nuts. We've had more +4s than we have +4s and wilds combined in the entire deck. So, even though the deck's been reshuffled every game, this to still happen is just absolutely fascinating to me. So we will see how it unfolds.
All right, well, second game 9 of the final 4. Red's gonna have the call here, all the pressure here, and Red we'll see what he goes for here, and I think I know what's coming next.
Think we know what's coming now.
Who won on the first one? Yeah, full send here,
Ladies and gentlemen,
I think this is gonna be interesting though, because we saw what happened when you returned on a card start, because Bob Ross did it in Game 8, returned to 10. He lost the first time, won the second time. With the full send, Bob Ross, that was where he got his first game win of the series. So, returning on a card start, he lost here, but it worked for Bob Ross. We'll see if it works for Red here. We'll find out, but Yellow 3 is going to be opener, and it's going to be a +2 right off the bat from Bob Ross to give himself the lead. Red up to 16 now.
I feel like he's just trying to pile on cards while he's got the chance. It's pretty much the best way to do it at this point. Give him a little bit more leeway to think about his moves. I will just say that ending on 15 is the only acceptable way to end a series, and that is simply fact.
+6 here that throws Bob Ross back. Again, I think Red's in the position where he really wants to throw Bob Ross behind because Bob Ross has the power play with Red not having it. And then we go into his favorite color here with the red. We'll see how long we stay here. I'm curious if this will end up becoming an ammo war to start things off, but threw a few +2s here and there to start, but so far things calming down a little bit. Both red 9s make an appearance as we continue the red. Yeah, Meteorological May Final Four winner faces My Hail in the finale. We'll see who gets the win here. Red draws on his own color. Can Bob Ross keep it going though? Maybe give himself... Okay, no, he doesn't. He actually is going to give the switch to green. Now the green 0. I think the biggest thing for Bob Ross here, he might be saving his power play to a finisher, but we'll see if circumstances change. But from what I'm seeing, what he's doing with here, I think that's where his mind is at right now. Switch to blue. And no red, no blue, so it might be 2-color at this point. Gets the top deck blue.
It's going to be very telling for the rest of the game. He's only on 2-color.
Bob Ross with the 3-card run, and that will give him the lead right back. Red keeping it going on the green. Green 5 here. Now we're getting into the really tense part of this. Especially with Bob Ross having the power play.
He's definitely close. This would be incredible statement for being down at 1.30 and
Switch
then
to
taking the win.
yellow. Both have 4.
And I think red really needed yellow at some point, so I feel like if it's going to be any time, it would be then. And then just pray that Bob Ross gets stopped in his tracks at some
Ditto.
point.
All right, we are still going down.
We're getting down there, yep. Bob Ross at 3, he's got that power play.
There's
there
right.
it is.
He asked what the wilds. There's the power play. Oh, there's another +4.
This is just about it.
I'm not sure if Red could have
through the ringer.
I'm not sure if Red could have there's your wild, and it's gonna end on yellow, and that's it. Double wild to end it.
Way too many wilds.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
And that was the second longest game of the series. Oh man, Red was right at the finish also.
Gracious.
That's absolutely brutal for Red. It was really close to the finish. Needed the red there to try to go for it, but used the power play early in the series, couldn't use it there, so unfortunate for Red there, but really came down to the wire on that one. We'll go to Bob Ross. I mean, started the game down 3-0 and then won the last 3 games. And you were off into the finale, and this crazy run continues. Any comments on the series here and just the bro, might be the facers. Just the I guess just the resilience here throughout this run to keep yourself alive in this one, because there was definitely a moment in this series where hope was really looking slim.
Yeah, I will admit, after like the third game, actually no, it wasn't the third game. After I lost game 5, I thought it was not looking good for me. I thought it might be over, but you know, I never think like that. I just keep playing. You know, I stuck to my word. I said at the beginning of that. I play well under pressure, and I think I demonstrated that again. Yeah, my underdog run continues. I think I've had a really rough, not rough, like tough run to the finals, and I think that will make me a threat going in. I mean, sorry, one sec, I'm really stuffed up. Sorry, I got a cold, but yeah. I mean, if I remember correctly, no one predicted me and what's the other guy's name?
KT
Mahale.
or
If
Mahale.
I don't know if I said that right. To be the finale of the Final Four. So
We could check that
yeah,
real
I just
quick.
think the cards have been against me, but I think I'm saying that like metaphorically because the cards were with me the last 3 games. But like I've just been I've just kept fighting, and I think that's made me a real contender. And yeah, hoping to close it out. And yeah, Red was great. He really had me on the ropes for a while. He was great playing against him. Good guy.
Yeah, ironically with the analyst predictions, both games had I guess the minority win out because both games had a 2-1 split, and both times it was the person that only had one with the analyst picks get the win. But yeah, another one. His job's almost finished. I feel like J Money's been doing that, or Bob Ross has been doing that for J Money after every game. But for Red, definitely a heartbreaker to the finish. You were really close to the end there, but just did not seem to have the right card or two to get yourself to push to the end. But any comments on this run here? I mean, you're at 8 wins on the season, in a great spot to still make the D2 championship. But just any comments on this run and what you hope to do for Justice July as we go into that final regular season tournament.
So yeah, like I said earlier, when before the match start and before the game 9, that making it here, it it isn't very. I mean, it is a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's very hard, and you need to do very well to make it here. So whatever outcome, did it. Yeah, it's not what I wanted, but it's been fun playing you, Bob Ross, and I'm happy to be here. And for the T4, I just hope that yeah, you know, just getting at least one win. That that's my goal.
We are having the casual request to match fix in the chat, which is definitely Sahale 4 versus 8. We'll see who gets the win here, but it's going to be an interesting one. No matter what way you put it here, someone will get their first tournament victory and lock up their spot in the D2 Championship. The question will be it be Myhale or will it be Bob Ross? We will have to find out. That finale will probably be coming soon, though. Just going to have to schedule to figure out when that's going to roll, but a very good possibility that could end up being tomorrow. But we'll have to wait until then. Tapir, any final comments on this series and just the general outcome and what you noticed throughout?
Well, I mean, I think it was a very hard fought match, and that's really what I expected from both players. I think both players did really well. Bob Ross, we said it in the beginning. He said he's a man of his word. He took that loss in stride, and he really just rebounded in a way nobody really saw coming. So congratulations to him. Red, he did all he could, right? Maybe a couple minor things here and there, but I think overall he put on a really solid performance. First 3 games, kind of luck really just took over. But in the end, with luck not really playing a part, he still was able to hold his ground and make it to game 9. So I think it was a really good performance on both sides, and I do look forward to the finale. And I think, Mihail, you really need to lose this time so you can be, eternally second, like you said. But I think we'll see what happens there. I think it's going to be a really solid, fun matchup. So once again, congratulations to both players. Yeah, back to you, G. That's about it.
All right, well, that will do it for us for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, Category 5 finale set for Myhale, Bob Ross. We'll see who gets the win here. Both on really good runs throughout this tournament, but we are coming down to the wire here as Meteorological May will be over soon, and then we will be heading into Justice July, where a lot of people seasons will be determined whether it be innocent into the playoffs or guilty with their season coming to a close. But that said, thank you all so much for watching. We will be back with some more action some point in the near future with our finale here and see who gets the win. But until then, on behalf of the MRE UNO team and Superior for co-commentating and Yoshi for being our ref, thank you all so much for watching this stream. We will catch you all relatively soon. I'm not sure when, but it will be soon for the Meteorological May finale. But till then, take care everyone and have a good one.
This has been a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 2.